Does anyone else have teenagers who are always hungry? They're always looking for snacks. And between school, work, running errands, running all over the countryside, it seems, life is very chaotic and very hectic. And today I'm going to share with you some of my very simple, high protein snacks that I like to prepare on the weekends and have them ready for easy snack for not only the teenagers, but also for mom and dad. I like to set the tone for the day. I start, I clear off the countertops, make sure everything's clean and ready. And then I will light my candles. I have a couple candles, scented candles and seasonal candles. I love to have those going, and then I'll turn on my seasonal decor lights just to have that extra ambiance, and then I watch my movies. And so I'm going to share with you a few of the snack ideas that I have, and I pretty much make the same thing a lot of the time. The eggs are ready, and I'm going to get peeling all of them, but I have this little container here that I use to store them in. And I mean, I think it's intended for deviled eggs, but I mean, it's good for storing the hard-boiled eggs as well. And normally, if I don't have enough for both trays, the other tray I'll use to put the sausage or bacon or whatever other meat I want to put in there for everyone to grab. I'm not going to chop up all of the peppers for the ground beef mixture, but what I will do is cut them up for just easy grabbing snacks in the fridge so that they're all cut, ready to go if anyone wants to have some peppers on the go, basically. So I'm going to, in the meantime, I'm going to take the sausage, I'm going to put them in the air fryer, let those cook while I'm chopping the peppers. I'm just going to put those in a container. I always like to put a paper towel in the bottom just to get rid of any of the additional grease. So I'm going to put these in here. I chopped up all the peppers to get those ready to go on the pan to mix in with the ground beef. So let's just get these in here. So those will sit, let them cool off. I've already chopped up the peppers and onions to go in with the ground beef, but I'm also going to add in some mushrooms and some spinach, just for a little bit of added measure with the vegetables. And I like to prepare this every week, but some variation of it. I'll mix it up. I'll mix up the vegetables, or instead of ground beef, I might do pork chop and then just mix that in. Just so at least there's something here to have as extra to grab as a quick snack or a quick meal if people are on their way to work, mainly the kids. As you're preparing these two skillets, just keep in mind to keep the two of them separated. The ground beef will have some runoff from the grease, and you don't want that mixed in with your vegetables. So cook the two of them separately. When I fry up the vegetables, I like to start with some extra virgin olive oil, some garlic, and a little bit of salt and pepper for added flavor. I like to add a little bit of spice into the ground beef, so I've added a little bit of chili powder, and I like to also add paprika, just to give it a little bit of extra flavor. And then I've got my pink salt here as well. And I'll cook this up a little bit longer, and then once the vegetables are looking nice and crispy, I'll mix the two together. and just add a little bit more olive oil. I normally don't add any kind of pasta sauce or anything. I leave that to, you know, whoever's choosing to grab it out of the fridge if you want to put it on top of pasta. Sometimes we'll just take this ground beef mixture and put, you know, a spoonful of hummus on it just for additional nutrients, or they'll just put it on a bed of rice. So there's lots of different options when you make this ground beef mixture. I like to let it cook a little bit into a tiny bit of a burnt crispy state. Not everyone likes that, but so you have to watch it very closely if you're doing that so that it doesn't completely burn. But these are almost ready. You can see they do have a little bit of a crispiness to them. And then I'm going to combine the ground beef. So we'll just put this in together. Because both the carrots and the peanut butter bites require being cooked in the oven. I'm going to do those together at the same time. And while that's being prepared and going in the oven, I'm going to work on doing the cold brew. So there's a lot of multitasking. Set the oven to 390, and I normally just chop up the carrots and put them in a ceramic dish, casserole dish. Carrots are now finished. They did take probably actually close to an hour. And so I would suggest if you're going to do carrots as one of your meal preps, start those first and get those in the oven while you're working on the other foods. So I'm just going to drain this out. It's basically very simple. I'm just going to drain this out. I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper, and then just put them in a container and put them in the fridge. So next I'm going to move on to the oatmeal peanut butter banana bite. We're going to get started on this, and I'm going to go relatively slow so that you can track everything if you want to rewatch this part to make these yourself. I'll try to somehow list everything in the description, but I'm new at this. This is only my 5th video. So thank you so much for being here and following along with all my antics here and my beginner videos. And I don't really measure out too much. I just kind of go with what I think looks and tastes good. Basically for this recipe, I use oatmeal, just plain oats, peanut butter, bananas, and the bananas, it's preferred if they're a few days old, where they're a little bit softer. And then I always add in a little bit of protein powder as well. And then honey and flaxseed for extra measure. Now, if you're making anything that's baked goods, if you want to replace white refined sugar, use honey or natural maple syrup. That's a little hack. First, I'm just going to add in the oatmeal. And let's just say we're going to start with 2 cups of oatmeal. Again, I like to just feel it out and see. If it's too dry, you add more liquid. If it's too liquidy, you add more dry. So we've got 2 cups of oatmeal. So we're going to put that aside. And then as far as the flaxseed, I like to sneak these little things into my recipes here and there, the flaxseed, chia seed, whatever seeds I can without anyone really noticing. So these will be hidden very well in these little bites. So I'm just going to sprinkle, you know, enough that they're hidden and no one's really going to notice. So that's the flax seed. So we'll just mix those together. I also like to use chia seeds a lot. So that's there, that's ready. Now, as far as the peanut butter does need to be melted. So I just got a fresh jar here, container. So I'm going to, again, start. It's always better to start with a little because you can always add more. If you add too much, you can't really take away. So the peanut butter, I'm going to go with, I'm going to say this is probably equivalent to 1 cup of peanut butter. And I'm going to melt that in a second. Got to have some of this for good measure. And no, I'm not going to dip this into the bowl. Actually, I probably would, but you guys are here, so I won't do that. So there's the peanut butter. And then I'm going to heat that up in a second. And once this goes in the microwave, you really only need to put it at about 30 seconds. So try it at low intervals first so it doesn't blow up and burn in the microwave. So then I'm going to grab some bananas. I love the taste of bananas, so I always try to add a little bit extra. So for this recipe so far, let's start with 3 bananas and just see how it goes. Now these ones aren't really extra ripe, but they're okay. The riper the better, because then they're nice and mushy and soft. So we've got 3 of these, and I'm going to grab a fork because we're going to chomp these up. I'm back. Okay, so the peanut butter is pretty much melted. So I'm just going to scoop that into the oatmeal mixture. I love little spatulas because they get into every little nook and cranny, and you pretty much get all of the stuff out off the bowl. And again, got to take the extra. And I also mashed up the bananas a little bit. I would normally just use a potato masher, but the bowl is a little bit too small. So I'm just going to do these up myself and just mash them up a little, whatever you can do. So this was 3 bananas. So we're going to just see how it goes, how it looks. And yes, I'm going to use the spatula that I licked. It's totally fine. My family doesn't care. I'm not serving these to other people. So we're going to mix those in. I kind of want a banana now. I think I'll have one. So then you're just going to stir this. This is the consistency here so far. Stir this up. So I stir this up first, and then I'll add in the protein powder and the honey. It's looking pretty good, but it seems a bit dry. So once we add the protein powder, it's going to be even more dry. So let's do that first, and then we will see how it looks. And we may add more peanut butter, and then we still have to add the honey as well. So let's get the protein powder. And my son is the first one in the family to notice a speck of protein powder. The texture he's not really fond of. So we're just going to put 1 scoop. That's all we need. And actually, sometimes what I'll do also is put a little bit of Greek yogurt or even cottage. Once this goes in the oven, we're going to move on to the cold brew. So I like to make my own cold brew. It's very easy. Anyone can do it, really. You can do it too. It's very easy. It's basically just percolated coffee. So I do that in the Keurig. And then I just reuse old, Starbucks or other cold brew containers and store it in that and put it in the fridge. So it's very easy. So I'm going to get these all lined up. And then once these are in the oven, you just keep an eye on them. They're usually maybe about, I want to say 15 or 20 minutes. You'll be able to tell because they will actually look cooked. The oatmeal peanut butter bites are out of the oven, and they did take 20 minutes at 390 degrees. Next, I'm going to make the cold brew, and it's very simple. Anyone can do it. Basically, you're just going to use your Keurig, or if you have another device, and I use whatever kind of percolated coffee I have, whether it's plain. I think I'm going to try flavored this time. This is the Starbucks Maple Pecan. And you're basically just going to, as if you're making a coffee, get it all set up, let it run through. And I usually will do a few of these. I only have 1 of the empty Starbucks containers right now, so I'll just do 1 batch. And I keep them in the fridge, and then I make my own cold brew here at home. So just gonna put that in. Our tank is full of water here, and we're going to let this run through. Number 10. And I use these. I just save these from past Starbucks use. If you have something else, either a glass jar, that's good too, whatever's easy. So I just use these, I save them, reuse, get that ready. That's going to percolate out. And then I do my own cold brew drinks here at home, which we'll prepare one together once this is done. Now that the cold brew is all percolated, or the coffee that is, so I'm gonna just let that sit. Usually I let it sit overnight, and then basically you just put it in the fridge and it's good to go. And I mean, I've had some of these in the fridge for, I'm sure, a few weeks, and it's totally fine. So I did already have one in the fridge from before that I've made. Now the thing is that when you want to use it, make sure you shake it because some of the coffee will settle on the bottom. So just shake it up good. I've got my stuff here. I already put some ice in my cup. And then I like to use this. I don't know if this is a Canadian brand or American, but Slim Syrup. So this one is the vanilla bean pumpkin. I like this particular brand because it's sugar free, but it also doesn't have that really strong syrupy taste. So I just put a little bit of this in, probably equivalent to maybe 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. So I put that in and then just add your cold brew. I go to about maybe 3/4 because I like to use the chocolate milk that's high protein. So this is also lactose free, which is great. But this has, where is it? So it's 1% milk. Where's the protein? Oh, here we go. Protein, 14 grams of protein. Like this is really good. So this is what I use, the lactantia. And I just mix that in. Now, occasionally I will also top it off with a little bit of whipped cream just for good measure, you know. But this is a small cup, so I got to have as much coffee in there as possible. So there's no room for whipped cream. And then I'm just going to stir it up, give it a try. Very good. So there's your homemade cold brew. We did it. What a day. And again, I just want to remind you, you don't have to spend 5 hours in the kitchen like I did today. It did take me a lot longer because I was recording and I did do quite a bit. That's what I choose. You may only have time for 1 or 2 things, and that's totally okay. You can do it. And a lot of this stuff could be prep for meals that you put together as a family. So today I did the carrots, so they're still steaming right out of the oven. And very simple, I just mixed salt and pepper, so those are good to go. And again, if you're trying to get a fast meal together, these can be your vegetable, just grab whatever you need. I've got the oatmeal peanut butter bites and banana, forgot that. So those are a really nice healthy snack for people just to grab. I've got the sausages, the little sausages, and these again, some nice protein for whoever wants to grab them. And again, also, you know, if people are making fresh eggs in the morning and they want to have some sausage on the side, again, those are already pre-made. I've got the peppers chopped up and ready to go just for whoever wants to grab those. We did the eggs as well. So we've got all these beautiful hard-boiled eggs. So this is good for just grabbing a snack, but also, I mean, throughout the week, if you want to use these to make sandwiches, you can do deviled eggs later. So lots of meal options for these. And then finally, the yummy, delicious ground beef with the fried peppers, onions, what else did I put in here? Oh, mushrooms and spinach. And again, this could be just used for grabbing whenever anyone wants a quick snack, or you could pair this up with pasta, some sauce, and make a meal. So a lot of this stuff, multi-purpose use. Thank you so much to everyone for being here right until the very end. I appreciate your patience. Again, this is only my 5th video, so I'm finding my way. And I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what your meal prep ideas are. I would love to hear. And if you are a working mom with a crazy lifestyle and you're just looking for some ideas or just someone to chat with in the comments, I'm here. I live that crazy, hectic lifestyle as well, working full time, having kids at home, running the home and running a business. But I just try to find simple ways to make life a little bit easier, not as chaotic. So thanks again. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be, but I think we're going to take it outside next time.